Daniel,
Yes.
finally, finally. Okay. So, Daniel, I owe you an apologize. I think
Okay.
I think you know why, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, why?
Um, Maybe you haven't seen my code yet.
No, I have seen your code. But just now I only discovered that I gave you a wrong exercise link. So it was for
Uh,
another student. So I'm so sorry.
all
I
right.
think I think you saw that you have to write a class, and definitely you did you open the exercise and
Yeah,
saw
I
the
actually opened it and I did the exercise actually.
wow. Wow. Okay. Actually, it is just an introduction to classes. So okay. But I truly apologize. Things get mixed up because I have done it late at night and seems that I was not really in focus. Okay.
Okay. So no worries.
Okay. So actually, I did have a look into your code. So, but of course, I didn't have a chance to look into everything. So I have looked into the first two issues that you have, and I
Okay.
believe that I, after some time, I managed to make it work. So, but I couldn't do that just blindly. So what I did, let me just share with you. The first thing when I saw your code, um, so let me go here. Should I use this to show? Is that not bad? Yes, this is not bad. So can you tell me what was your first issue? Your first issue is in the register PHP. I can't seem to enter a new user. And the problem, it says column password cannot be null.
Yeah.
So actually the register.php actually it was missing a lot of things. Okay.
Okay.
So okay, let me just tell you basically I think this is not this is the login one. Okay. So okay, first thing before I tried anything, actually no, I tried and there was no errors. Or actually there was error, but once I fixed that error, I still got another error. So actually you commented part of the code that actually does the registration. Did you? I believe
Yeah.
yes.
Actually, some I command it as the old code,
Okay.
so that if I did something wrong with it, I can just go back to the old code. That's why I command the.
Okay. So of course, if you are writing, I mean, later, if you try to pursue a career in programming, you need really to actually work your way through Git. So okay. Before okay. So I have a previous version of the code of this code that you gave me before. So I used um, something called Git. So did you hear about this Git before? Git.
Yeah, I heard you before.
So this Git is actually created. It's like a database for code. So I'm able to tell, okay, if before any change I want to do, then I like to freeze the code and give it a name. Okay. So I describe, okay, so the current status before I copy your new files to my current project file, I will say, okay, this save this code state with everything, with every line of code inside it, and mark this with a command that this is exactly before I replace the old code with Daniel new code. Okay, so it will save all the file details. Okay, and then the folder, actually the whole folder, it will save it. So and then I try to replace the old project with your new files. So if I got something wrong happen with this replacement of the old code, I'm able to revert back. But I'm not talking about reverting back manually line by line. I just can just issue one command the Git will do it for me. So it's like, you know, did you hear about image, creating an image for your hard disk?
Yeah.
So creating an image for your hard disk means that it just copy everything in your hard disk and save it as an image. If a virus come and maybe attack your files, you can just go back, replace the old file with the image, or even it act as a backup. So we are doing the same with the code using Git. So anyhow, so in it, yeah, I mean, this saves a lot of time. If you know it, actually, you only need to know 3 or 4 commands. And of course, if you need to actually revert back some code, you need to learn another 3 commands. So it is only 6 commands. Most of the 90% of the time you will need them. So these 3 commands that I'm telling you about is you go to a new folder with files inside. You initialize the code database by running git init. So you initialize the database. The database will still be empty. The second time,
Wait, are you sharing the Git?
Yep. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, sorry. So
All right.
so this is the git.
All right.
So okay, so the git init, like you see here, this is the command. Let me try to write here. So this is actually the command. So you go to a folder for the first time before you do anything, you need to initialize Git. So he will build an empty database inside this specific folder. What is the folder name? I go to the folder using this Git command. I mean, it's Git, not command, Git CMD, the command line prompt. Okay, so I navigated to the folder. Give me a second. So I navigated to your folder and that I put your project file inside, and then I call git init. Okay, so after this file, I know that Git have been initialized and they created an empty database. So he's waiting for another 2 commands from me. The 2 commands say, let me just remove that. So go here. Okay. So, okay. The second command is git add. So this git add is actually going to tell Git what code files you want to save inside the database. So Git is the database for code. We don't have to know too much details about it. We don't have to write SQL about it. Of course, if you would like to go into deep details, of course, yeah, be my guest. But you don't need to write SQL. You don't have to care about the database table, import, export, all this. No, that's only a few commands that you need to use. So when I said add and I said -a, so I didn't want to bother my mind with specific folders inside the project. I just say A, it means save all the files inside this folder in the database. Okay. And so actually this add A, it's not really adding the files to the database yet. He just, you are telling him, monitor changes in the file that I'm going to specify. And when you said -a, so you are telling him, monitor all the files in the folder for any changes. So he will still try to mark the changes in every file, which means that if you even add a single empty space inside the file, he will record that in his database. Okay, so this is the second command. I do it, and then comes the third command, which is the final. That this is the only 3 commands that you need to know. So again, the third command is commit. Commit means that you already done some changes, some code changes in any file inside your folder. Okay, he will save all. So what I did here, so let me say, okay, this git commit -m will actually take any changes you have done and it will save it to the database with the text. So this text is helpful. So you need to make use of it. You can use different text with different commits. So every time you do a change, so you mark it with something that you can remember. Okay, so maybe this marks the old files before copying new files from Daniel on 20 January, like that. I can write whatever text I would like to write. Just don't forget, include them in a double quotation. So by doing so, he will save all the files that you ask him to monitor. Any changes in them, he will save them. He will save them that you, any single line space that you even put, or any comment you already put, he will save them. And if you want to, if you have done damages to the project file and to the code, and it doesn't work anymore, and you don't know from where to get back, you can tell him to go to this certain commit. This need another two or three lines, commands. But at the moment, as long as there is nothing wrong, you only need 3 commands. You do this get init only one time in the project for the first time you run this project, and you depend on second 2 commands, which is get, add, or actually it's a small add dash a, and get commit minus m. So these 2, you will always use them. So this will be frequent usage. And this get init, you do it only one time. Only one time. Once you actually decided to use get for a certain project. You do it one time, that's it. And then you keep adding information. It's like you adding rows to your database. So you add all and then you commit. You add all, you commit. So every time you do a change, you make sure that it's already working. It's you really want to save that for later, revert back. So you add them, you add all the files, and then you commit them. So you tell him, okay, monitor the changes that I have done in all the files. And then by running commit, you are telling him, okay, save now all the changes in the file that you specified. And what is the file you specified here? Actually, all the files in the folder. Certain times you only want to monitor certain files, not all. So maybe you only want to monitor PHP files. And maybe there is HTML file, maybe there is a text files inside the project. So it depends. There can be a lot of mixes of files inside the project. But at the moment, I find it much easier not to really mention every single file that I'm interested in. So I just said add dash a, it just add all. And that's comfortable for me. So there could be help files that you write text describing about your project. So I don't care. I'm not really into going file by file and choosing them. So this command make it my life easier. I add all to be monitored, and then when I save, they save all the changes in the file that I specified here. So far, did you catch anything from what I said?
Yeah, I catch it.
So that's why this is important, because sometimes it happens like that. Your files, your project, everything is working, and then the night before you're going to discuss with your professors or the discussion day, then something happened. Your code doesn't work anymore. So with this kind of thing, you don't really need to worry, because, okay, a single file can get deleted.
So as long as I didn't commit after I save it, it's okay, is it? It's fine, right?
Yes. But you don't commit a code that is not working. You make sure that you commit something that is already working. So once you test, okay, everything is fine, so you commit. You add and commit. And then if you want to revert back, you need another 3 commands. So actually, let me just tell you. So if I want to see how many commits I have done, so actually, so I'm able to, let me say, So as you can see, when I say get status, he will tell you which files I actually have been editing, and which files actually he is not keeping tracking of. So maybe he doesn't track any changes on this SQL file, okay, and maybe this CSS. And it's true that I have actually changed it, modified this login.php and register.php. And then also there is another command that, so when I say log, okay, the log will show you all the commits that you have done. So every time you change, it's like adding a row to the database. So the more commits I do, it will appear here. So you see this commit? This is the only commit I have done. What is the comment that I give to this commit? I say original state before adding new files from Daniel on 20 January. So let us assume I already have done changes, and I did actually. So, and this changes actually is working. So I will let me do the example now. So I have done changes, which is, you can see it from here. This is the changes, okay? So I will now I will show you now how I can save these changes, and then how the commit will appear to you later. So, okay, now I say, get add. So now he added all the files inside the folder. He stopped monitoring them, and then he will see the changes that happened to them. And once I write get commit -m like that, so I will write I fixed the login file issue and the register user issue. So now I committed. So you see from what he have done here. So you see here, 9 files. He gave you a summary of what happened. 9 files changed, 600 insertions. It means that he tracked every single line of code you added, and 53 deletions. Means that I added some files and some lines, and I deleted some other lines. So because he's monitoring even a single space, so he's able to monitor so much detail. But that is not of our interest. I mean, you don't need to busy your mind with that. You can just see this and this. So this is something I added to the project, which is log file. So it means that if there is an error or there is an information that I want to track or trace what is really happening inside the code, because I cannot really troubleshoot files blindly or project blindly. So I need a tool to do that. So I just make a single file that I'm able to include in every how to say PHP file that I want to troubleshoot. I will show you now what is the issue, but just bear with me now. If I write get log again, previously you only saw when I write this command get log here, I only see one commit, which is this one. Now, if I write the same command again, get log, so you will see 2 commits, okay? The commit that this is the last commit, which is I already do it in front of you now. I fixed it, the login file issue and the register user issue, okay? So this is the last commit. He give it a number. And this is the initial commit that I used before I copy your new files, your new project files. Okay, so the more commits you do, you will see them listed. How you see them? By writing git log. That's it. So this is just to know how many commits you have done. And it will let you know the number that if you want to revert back, you tell him, I think the last 4 or 6 numbers from the commit, if I'm not mistaken, and then you don't need to write the whole number. I think just the last 3 or even the first 5 or 6 alphabetical or alphanumeric numbers here. And based on that, he will revert back the commit to you. So again, this is a safe net for your site. This is not that you copy the whole files and then you save them, because sometimes it takes a long space and you also get confused. Because when you save a folder, I mean, previously I've done that. So when I want to back up a folder, a project folder, I just back up the whole file, and then I create, okay, take a backup on maybe 20 January. But maybe in 20 January, I have done maybe 6 or 7 changes, different changes. So if I want to revert back, so how can I know? How can I trace back? When is the change that actually could have resulted in the trouble that I'm facing? So you're getting confused. But using this, it gets you somehow organized, because first of all, every commit will tell you what changes have been done inside the code, what lines have been changed, what files have been changed. And you also write some identification text or comment that you are able to revert back to. And then if you actually do this revert to a specific old revert like this, or even this, and then you discover that, oh, I didn't want that. Maybe I did a mistake. This is not the revert or the commit that I want to go back to. I want something else. So you are able to do that. So it gets messy if you do that by just copying the folder here and there. So this really very, very helpful, to be frank. To me, I prefer that if you are confused now, just go back and listen to the recording again. I believe it will give you some ideas about what's happening. Okay, and if you have questions, let me know now or even the next class. Believe me, this is very helpful. And I mean, this has become like almost a must-use tool for most of the companies, because it saves a lot of time, The old days when you just take backup of the project folder, I think it can't be. And if you are working with 2 or 3 people on the same project, this makes your life easier, much easier, because somebody maybe change the register and login files. Another person take care of maybe the dashboard. So you want to mix both codes. It's a nightmare if you don't use Git. Use Git actually are able to merge files together. So you do a single change, you do a few other single changes, then you are able to mix together, and you can test. If the test does not work, you can go back to a certain commit before you start to merge with your colleague. So that is very, very helpful. So I can't imagine that I have done project with other 2 or 3 guys without using this tool. This is very helpful. So far, did I manage to clear this?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay,
Yeah,
now let's go back to the project. I apologize. We took some time here. Hopefully it can be helpful to you. And okay, now let me go back to, here. Okay. Are you able to recognize the new things that I have done here? Can you recognize what was previously done and what is new here?
Oh, wait, so I think you changed you added the username and name, yeah, username, you add the username, sorry. Username, yeah, you add the username.
Okay, so username and okay, did you see that right log?
Okay.
So this right log is a function that I actually totally added from scratch, because like I told you, I managed to solve the initial errors that you faced, but then I faced another errors. But these errors does not actually show up on the screen. Okay, so it showed me an empty page and it just dies silently. So without a right look, I couldn't really figure out what is the issue. So
So what actually right log do actually?
Okay, so this is what write log does. So this is a function, and it is saved in logging function.php. So it take a message and a type. So this message, I write something in it that can tell me. So okay, you have different situations inside and different if statements inside your register code. So if this happen, I need to write that there is an error happened. So if this connection to the database failed, I need to, so if this is true, then I write this log. So this log is of type error. So how this is showing to you, let me share it with you. So this is the log file that will appear. So at the moment, it is active. It means that if I copy the file to you, the whole project file to you, you will find this working. You just, for new files, other than login and register, you just need to copy the format that I'm using, and you can use it your own. So again, the output will be something like that. First error I saw is connection failed, unknown database, like that. So why? Because I forgot and I added underscore between the FYP and the word database. So he didn't accept that. He said that he cannot find the database. So fine, I already know where is the issue. I fixed it. So I find another problem with the if statement for post. So I fixed that also. So you see here, so this, I already make a register under my name. I wanted to test if the register is actually working. So in the places that I suspect it is not working, I always add a log file. I write one statement, and normally I choose that as an info. So error mean that you specify like here. So if you are checking for an error, you choose the type here as an error. If you just want to mark if this portion of the code is actually executed or not, so you can just put it as an info. So if you look here, write this log. So this is just for only info, only information. It's not an error. So I wanted to actually see the information that actually, how to say, that you actually entered in your form. You have an HTML form, and you press register to register the user. So every variable here, I actually printed it out. So this is exactly like print line in Java. But because Java is different from PHP. So in Java, it can output something to the screen to you. And you can do that with echo. But that's not preferable in PHP. So when you write a log, then you are able to keep track of what's really everything happening. So, but it is, the concept is same. So consider this a print line in Java. So here I'm just printing this variable here and this role. So he will get the role, this variable, and he will actually print it out here. So this is not an error. So this is just to give me an information. Did the code run until this line or no? And if it ran to this line, what actually is the content of the variable full name? What is the content of the variable first name and the role? Why? Because I added something here. So these 3 lines take the full name, divided it into 2 parts, first name and last name. So this is not the big issue. Even if you don't write the name, the code will still work. Your big issue is that you want the email and the password to work, because this too is necessary for you to do the login. So when you register the user, the most important thing is the email and the password. So we have to care about that. And then the second part I added here something about the role. So if I detect the role is actually equal student, so what I will do that, I will actually insert into student table. I will insert what? First name, last name, address, but you don't actually provide any address. I mean, in your, so if I look here, let me just try to, okay, so let me share with you here. I think you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
So, okay, first of all, sorry, I speak so fast. I will stop now. Are you able to follow up, or I got lost? You got lost?
No, I would follow up with you.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you see here, you didn't mention any address, right?
No.
And
Oh, okay.
no,
So there's all right. So in the FIP in the database, I have an address for the students, right?
yes, you have, but here you didn't. So it's totally fine. I mean, it's not necessary. The most important thing for you to be able to log in, I mean, you can provide an address, but that is not the critical thing in the register file to make it work or not. This is the most important, because without these two being stored correctly, you are not able to log in. So what is your login looks like? Like I think you already know it. So so you can see here, the most important thing here is the email and the password. Without them, I cannot really log into the dashboard. So as you can see, I managed to enter the dashboard for the student. So it means that I managed to enter the email and the password correctly. Why? Because I managed to register them correctly in the first place. Again, if you don't register them correctly, you will not be able to log in. They will not be saved in the correct table correctly. So we need to make sure that this is okay. The other data like age, address, this is, I mean, at the start to make the code work, don't look at them. Look at the most critical information, email and password. So again, like I told you, I need to, so this is the register, right? I need to do two insertions, okay? Only two insertions for any role. It doesn't matter, student, teacher, parent, or whatsoever, okay? One insertion to a table like student or teacher. So again, okay, now let me put it, hopefully I try to make it as much clear as I can. So one insertion to users table, and another insertion to student or teacher or it can be
Parents,
parent,
admin.
admin. Okay, so but again, you will not be able to, you're not going to insert in all of them, just only one of those. Okay, that is based on what? Based on the role. So you will see the role. This is an if statement. If one is true, the remaining will not be executed. So if you insert into the student, you will not insert into the teacher. If you insert into the teacher, you will not insert in the parent and the admin. So you see here, because the role is student, so I insert in the student. I insert what? The first name, last name. Did you provide first name and last name in the register? No, you didn't. You actually provide, like you see here, you write, give me the full name, right? So
Yeah.
I use programming to cut this first name, and this remaining, I call it last name. So I use only three PHP functions, okay? So I divided this whole string into an array. Every word that is separated by a space here, I put it in one part of the array. And then I take the first part, I call it first name, F name. And I take the remaining, I call it L name. That is done in 3 lines in PHP. So based on that, I'm able to insert the first name and last name in all other tables. So you don't have to make take first name. I mean, you do have. So as you can see, you only put just one text box. And you take the whole full name one shot. You didn't put 2 text boxes. So it's much easier like that. Just use PHP to act smartly and detect what is the first name and second name. I will show you how is that. And definitely if it is working, then you don't need to touch it. So this is the 3 lines that is responsible for how to say, getting the full name and dividing it into an array. So this is an array. What explode function does, I already explained it to you here. And the same goes to array shift. It's also explained here. So array shift takes the first entry in the array name part and assign it to first name variable. And the same goes to the last name variable. Okay, so I concatenate the remaining of the name and I put spaces in between them and I save them in last name. So that's why you're able to insert in the student first name, last name, address. You will insert nothing because you didn't take any address from the user. Mobile name you have, email you have, age you didn't specify. So it's totally fine. Okay, so again, this is insert into, so you're inserting into the student table in the MySQL. And again, are you able to follow up?
Yeah, I'm able to follow up.
I need to slow down.
No, okay, it's fine.
Okay, so can you see these question marks?
Yeah.
How many question marks?
6.
Okay, can you see here? How many of those S's that you have?
5.
Okay, so 5 because S is referring to a string. I is referring to an integer.
Okay, so, okay.
So S because the name is a string, and second S because this last name is also a string. Why I then? I because the age is an integer. And the email is also a string, and he also treats the mobile as a string. Why? Because you sometimes you're able to put plus 60. So this plus cannot be accepted as an integer. It will not be accepted. So it is safe for us to just use it. We make this mobile as a string. Sometimes also people, when they entering the mobile number, they put 60 dash 19 dash, or even they put spaces. So you cannot put spaces in integer. So if you put plus 60 and then you put a space and then you put 19 and then you put a space 402. So when this cannot be an integer at all. And also sometimes the number is large, so that cannot be safe. Make it a string. So okay, if you look here, so if the role is teacher, we still need to enter details, but look at there is certain differences for the teacher. Maybe this subject specialization. Okay, and if you see here 1 2 3 4 5, and all of them is actually strings. So, okay, what is the most important thing that I get here? I get the associated ID. Okay, so by this insertion, the most important thing I get is this associated ID. Once I get it, I'm able to do insertion to save the password and the email to the user table. Can you see that? So I have to get this first to be able to insert it here in the user table. So here I put the password and the email, which if it is inserted correctly with the associated ID, I'm able to actually, my login and the registration system will actually work. Okay, so now I would say, so this is the registration. So let me put AKE, okay? Okay, let's try to put that as a teacher and see if it really works. Okay, let us put that 000 and hope it work without an issue. So I put the password as XYZ12345. Or let us make it simple so I don't forget. Okay. And I will try to register. So I want to remember that because I can easily forget that. Register. Okay, so once you reach the login, it means that you register correctly. Okay, what is the proof of that? I can go here and I can show you inside the database that actually we got something inserted correctly. So good, have a look at the users. So can you see what have been done? So let me see. No, something is wrong. Something is wrong. We didn't insert correctly here. Teacher, username, AKE was not inserted here. Let me see inside the teacher. Yeah. So can you see that?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yes. So this is, we have done it. So I need to confirm again that this users actually got something. Is it? I'm not sure. Is it? This is what he's trying to. Maybe need to troubleshoot that. Why he didn't insert inside the user table? But I'm sure that he already inserted inside the teacher. So let us try to log in and see what could be the possible issue. Let me go to here. I will put this and I will try to put this here and try to log in. So no account find. So yeah, I think this is fair enough because it seems that there is an error that actually occurred. So it means that we have a problem with the teacher. But then what if we try to register with, now let me troubleshoot that with you. So again, can you see my code here?
Yeah, now I can see.
Okay, so it seems that the teacher have a problem. I tested it with the student. It seems that it worked. I was able to insert inside the teacher table. I think you have seen that. We go to the teacher table already and we see an entry. But we would like to see why, even though I already inserted inside the teacher table, why he doesn't insert anything here. So that is quite strange. I would like to understand that. So the first thing that I will do is that I will try to copy that log. Then I start to actually say here, okay, I will say here, this is info, and I will try to actually add this associated ID as part of the troubleshooting to confirm that it is actually working. So this is teacher role. New teacher with this ID. That is the first thing that I'm going to do. So I write log like that, and then I come here and I would say, let's see. Okay, I will come here and I just want to make sure that the code run until it reach here. So adding the new user to the users table. And I will say role so that, and okay, so this is the role that I'm inserting. Is it that the role? Yes, the role is here. And also I would like to look at the associated ID with the ID And I put the ID like that. And so far, are you able to follow up? Daniel, are you lost?
Yeah, I will have to follow.
Really?
So,
You are not lost?
I think, so, what do you do to the users table actually?
So, okay. The users tables need to contain the password. I mean, this is the only way to store your password. Where are you going to store your password?
Users table.
This is the only place to store a password. So you have to do two insertions. One for the table that carry the first name and last name, and one for a table that carry and store for user password. So after you insert in the teacher table, so where is the teacher table? Let us have a look again. This is the teacher table. So do you see here? Now this is the teacher table. I didn't write any subject specialization yet. I didn't write any mobile number, or even I write it, but it seems that he doesn't insert it for some reason. We also can try to troubleshoot that, why he doesn't insert it. But at the end, he inserted two things or three things. So does he insert the password here? He didn't. Did any column that contain password in this teacher table?
No.
So, okay, if you want the user to log in, the only way for you to make it work is that you need to verify the user with a password.
Okay, so I have to make sure that the passwords go into the users table, right?
Yes.
During the registration.
So you register a teacher, you put his name inside the teacher table. You register a student, you put his details, his name. So you see here, actually, I did that before the class. I already managed to register a student on ID 5 with the first name, last name, with that mobile number. Maybe this needs some troubleshooting more, and the email. So I did that correctly, and it worked. And I managed to actually store that. If I try to actually, can you see that? So this is a proof that using this exact email that you can see in the student table, it proves, so it proves here that this is, can you see the entry here, 5? Can you see the ID 5 of the student? Look at here. Can you see the associated ID? Can you see 5 here?
Yeah, I see it.
So this 5 is referring to this ID. It's referring to this 5. So that's why these two tables are actually connected. That's what we call relational databases. So now it's like this. This is a users table, users, and this is the student. How you connect two rows in two different tables? So you use the ID. The ID, which is 5 here, is inserted here in a column called associated ID. So that's why I insert inside the student table first, and I get this ID out, and I save it here when I do the insertion for the row and the password in the user table. So why I'm using user table? Because it has a password. It has the encrypted password, and it also has the email. So how I'm going to do the login? I do the login using two things: email and password. So far, are you able to follow up?
Yeah.
If you okay, can I recommend something?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, give me let me go and wash my face, and you also do the same. and then we continue after 3 or 4 minutes? Can we do that?
I think you got cut.
I got cut means
Means I can't hear what you're trying to say
okay.
before that.
So okay, let me repeat that again. So I would recommend that me and you go wash our faces. So I will go to wash my face, get refreshment, and 2 or 3 minutes we continue back again. Is that okay?
Okay, sure, no problem.
Okay, good. Yeah. Daniel, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear.
Okay. So Daniel, what did you catch so far? So I can start from there.
All right. So, right, I catch that I have to uh in order for me to access the login page, I need to make sure that during the login, I have to access the user tables and the password saved at the user table.
Correct?
Okay.
And yeah, when you're doing registration, how many tables you need to actually insert into?
How many tables is two tables? Yeah, two tables. It's
Excellent.
based on a rule.
Okay. Okay. So uh, since you're going to insert into two tables, it makes no sense that we insert into two different tables and we don't make a connection because again, it is the same person, the one who registered his name here and his email here, it is the same person that also put his password, password and email here. So how to make a connection? And again, the role is stored here. So when the role is stored here, we need again a way to know in the student table what actually is a role for this person. What is the ID for this person? So the only way we can see that, oh, here is 5 and here is 2. So if we go to the teacher table at the ID 2, we are able to see the details about Pop White. So if we go to teacher, we go to the ID 2, which is this, we see Pop White details, his email, his mobile number, specialization, and so on. Does this make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Okay. So again, we would like to actually continue our troubleshooting issue. So, okay, like what I said, uh, I wanted to know if the code actually reaches that level. So if we executed 99, line 99, then definitely we will write something to the log. So I will save and try to see also if this new user is registered. I think he put the role here, so it doesn't make any sense to actually write it again. So I am writing two logs here. I will do save, and then I will also check this ID. So let me take you to inside the file. Okay, now have a look here. So I put your project files here, and I make a folder called log. I enter it. So this is the log file by day. So tomorrow they will create a new file. So I click on it, I open. So again, if you can see here, it is telling me info that actually a new user registered and is giving me the username, email, and the role as a teacher. But strangely, it doesn't save the information to the database. And that is a bit troublesome. So we have to look why he doesn't add that. So again, you can see here info that I managed to insert a new user registered, user username and this. So we can see that, and we can see the role as a student. But this seems to be strange because um, it is written here, but we can't see it in the database. And we try to log in.
Actually, sorry, you did not. I did not see the log.
Oh, really?
It's yeah, the
Sorry.
screen seems to froze.
What about now?
Yeah, I can see it.
So now you see, okay, I have an entry inside the log file telling me that this new user registered actually is written here. So it means that this line was executed after we do the insertion into the database. Have a look here. So this is also telling that new user registered, and this is his email. I can see that, but I can't see this email inside the user table, which is quite strange actually. Why he doesn't why it doesn't work? So we have to look at the code again. So you can see from this line, that actually every time we do the commit, so it means that we execute the database query, which is inserting into users. Once it's done, the transaction is committed and supposed to be reflected into the table, we write that log file. So if we see this log file, definitely it means that database have been inserted, or role inside the database have been inserted. And it doesn't show me any errors so far. So that is quite strange. Why it doesn't show me any errors, but okay. It is using username, hashed password, email, role, associated ID. And the password is hashed. Let me see here. Hashed password. Okay. So I would say okay. Phone number, password. I would like to see teacher, subject. Subject actually is not working because we are not taking any subject. Suppose mobile, this needs some more troubleshooting, connection, insert. Actually, this supposed to actually work, execute. Okay, this is, okay. So is that closed correctly? This is not a parent, this is the teacher. So if it's already executing here, why it doesn't? So let me try again. I try to save this and I go here. So can you give me another email? Daniel?
Just put my name. Yeah, Daniel.
Okay. So I put here Daniel. Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Student. And by the way, if we are not able to get the phone number, maybe we need to actually look into what you call this field in the text file. So maybe this could be an issue. That's why we are not able to get it. So I will put XYZ 1, 2, 3, and then I will press register. Okay, it seems to be working. So let me have a look at the table. So let us look at the student. if we see Daniel, so Naim Daniel, okay, was inserted. Okay. Address, we don't have an address. Mobile number, we're supposed to have a mobile number, but we need to troubleshoot that. Users, let me see if we are able to get the user. Seems that for some reason, we are not able to insert inside users, which is quite strange. Why the insertion inside user no longer worked? Why it doesn't work? Refresh. So it seems that it could be rejected for some reason, but we don't know why is the reason that this got rejected. Okay, so it means that we need to look why this was accepted and in the code it was not. So I would say if I were you, what I would do is that, so after the execute, then I will try to get the ID and see. So this is ID. I will try to get an ID that proves that he already inserted inside. And it is possible that I try to, so I'm printing here associated ID. I also try to print here ID, row ID, and then I insert here ID and try to see actually what is the issue, especially when we have this entry in the log file. So we managed to say this echo, forget about it, we don't need it anymore. Okay. So I will share with you the log file. Adding the new user to the users table with ID 6. And this is Daniel, which is quite strange. He said that he inserted that, but we go to the table. Could it be looking at the wrong table? This is the FYP database. Users. Could it be, okay, let me do one more check. I will actually stop the database and I will try to refresh it. There could be possible something that is hanging inside for some reason or another. And then I try to refresh here.
Wait, are you trying to show the database right now? Because I see the log for your notepad.
Yeah, this is the database, yes.
All right.
So again, inside, like I told you, inside the student, we have this is inserted. But inside users, this doesn't get inserted for somehow. So I got an idea. I will try to actually give me a second. Okay, let me see. Okay. Okay. So I will try again the login process. Okay, we try to sign up. Okay, and let me try. Second, or we can say like that. We tell that he is a teacher, and we can add 1, 2 here. We put X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3. We try to register and see. We managed go to the login. Let us try. So you are following up, right? You are able to see what I'm doing on the screen?
Yeah, you're trying to log in.
Yeah, so teachers, let me see. No, teacher, I'm not able to insert you as a teacher. Let me see. And also here, so student is working, but teacher needs some, that's quite strange. Okay, let me look at the log file. So it is telling me that a new user to the users table with ID 4. But here it's telling that the ID is 0, which is quite strange. Something is not going correct here. So let me look into this so that we don't have to, yeah, I think this will take some time to troubleshoot.
Okay.
And yeah,
All right.
so
So
yeah,
in the meantime, I just do the other pages first.
yes,
Uh,
yes.
okay.
I will, if I manage to find it, if I manage to find a solution for that, I will send you the files, all the code files before the next class. Okay?
Okay, sure.
Okay. So I
Okay.
would say, should we move to Java or should we stop here? Okay.
Yeah, I think I have enough of the project for one. I think we should move to Java.
Okay. Okay.
Brief.
So we see you next class. Okay.
No, wait.
Ah,
I thought we are.
you want us to continue in Java? That's better.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. Okay.
Yeah, I think I need some something else
Something
to
different. Okay.
something different.
Okay. Okay. That's
If I
good.
keep doing this, I'm getting. All right.
Got
So,
it. Yeah.
should I show you the last homework that I did?
For the classes, no need. I think for the classes, no. I
Okay.
mean, it's not, we are not taking classes at the moment, so it's okay.
Okay, sure. All right.
Okay, now
Let's.
have a look at this code. So, okay. So do you remember how we removed the spaces here using a for loop?
Yeah.
So do you know the technique that we use here, or you need a reminder of that?
We use no need. I think I
You
remember it.
still remember? Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
So if we want to use a while loop to do the exact same thing, it will be slightly different. Okay, so let me say that this is the string where we actually need to remove the spaces. So consider we're having how many spaces? 1 and 2. So, okay, these index of are able to search for the empty space and get me its index. Index means that where exactly it is located inside my string. So here, 0, 1, 2, 3, and here is 4. So I will find using string.index of, it will search for me the first empty space. So if I use this while will actually do what? It will tell me if there is an empty space inside my string. If there is no empty space, it will return -1. If there is, it will return the index of it. So in this case, because I have two spaces, so it will return me the first one, the index of the first one. So once I got the index of the first one, so here this is just a checking condition to check if there is an empty space. If there is, then I will execute that lines. So this line is just to get the string, the index space. So when we see here, index space actually will contain 4 because here is the space. So now to be able to remove that space, we use one technique. The technique say that you get the index from 0, which is here, from 0 until the index space, until 4. And you use substring. We know that substring, this is exclusive. It means that if you say, I want from 0 until 4, it will only get you from 0 until 3. So it means that I will store Naim inside first. And then look at here, I say index space +1. It means that instead of taking 4, this is D, its index is 5. So if I add 1 to the 4, it means that I am looking into this, the index of the D capital. And since I omitted anything after this, it means that I need to take from 5 until the end of my string. So we have two substrings. The first one will capture 9. The second one will capture Danielle and the remaining of the string until the end. So I save first here, I save the second here. But if you note, we try to avoid or jump on the empty space, which means that here I'm ending at the empty space. Here I'm jumping the empty space by 1. So I'm not including the empty space into second. And then on the next line, what I do is that I get Naim like that. And I got Daniel concatenated to it without the space. And there is still empty space here. We only managed to remove one empty space at a time. Every time this loop runs, it will remove one empty space. So, okay, now we removed one. We have to remove the second. If you look, so if we look here, we will find that, okay, this is become 0, this is become 1, this is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this is 10, and this is 11. So this is the index of the second space is actually 10. Why? Because when we added the two strings and saved it in str now have a new content. It's not Naim space Daniel anymore. It become Naim Daniel connected together without the space. Just because we do this kind of separation. We took this apart, this another part, and we concatenated them using this operation. So far, is that clear or?
A little bit confusing.
Okay.
On the, you say that the first, how should I say it? Um, mm, okay. So from the index space means that when I try during the first initializing,
Mhm.
it started the count as is zero, right? And then until it reaches the space,
So, wait.
what's it called?
Are you talking about this line or this line? Which line?
Uh, the string first line.
Okay, yeah, okay. So yes, this first, okay, we know that when we start here from zero and we end up with the index that we want to do. But just note something that, just a reminder. So if we are looking for a single character, if we are looking for a single character, we 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 have to do here I, for example, and here I plus one. This is just taking only a single character. And this means that this is exclusive. If you put here zero and zero, just to get the first character, you got nothing. So if you want to only get n capital here, so you put zero and here one. So at the end, this will get you n capital. It will be saved inside later. So you still remember that this is exclusive?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. Before you tell me what you understand, may I ask you, please, can you write this code? Or I can make it easy because I want to make sure that we explain this fully. I will just copy the code for
Wait, I
you.
already wrote the code.
Oh, really?
Yeah, during your explanation and during I used to with notes, I wrote the
Wow.
code. Wow.
Okay, that's good. So if you wrote the code, uh, can you please put a print statement here after this line, and you try to print the index space, and another print statement to print first, and another print statement to print second. Without print statement, you will never understand how the code works. So three print statement, one here, second, third. Here you print the index space, here first and second. And then you can share your code and I explain there.
Okay. So first, all right. And the index space. Right, can you see the code?
Yes, I am seeing it, yes.
All right.
Okay, that's excellent. Okay. Okay, so okay. You passed a string and again you said Naim, Daniel. I want to confirm with you this actually is index 0, 1, 2, 3, and then here is 4. But you actually printed 10. Am I right?
Yeah, she 10. So it means that
Wait, is it he's getting, wait, okay, this is 5. Okay, and when you print it here, you print it second, you print it first. which is a bit strange.
So it means that this one's printed the number of what's it called?
Okay, let me try to okay, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Even the space here is 11. That is a bit. So you printed Naim Daniel as saved at first. You print it here first. And you set print line. And you print it here second, which is, can you let me see this, what you're writing here? What did you write here? I can't see it. If you move your mouse somehow.
Oh, sorry.
Index space +1. Something is a bit strange. One and 0, and he doesn't even print the index space again. He only printed it one time. Okay. Okay, can you let me know? I want to see if you have, this is, can you go down? Okay, go up, show me how you're calling the,
Okay.
you're doing, huh? Remove spaces too. Wait, you didn't put an empty space here. That's why he only detects that space.
Okay.
Okay, run again then. You should run 2 times. That's why I'm surprised. Okay.
Okay.
So that's why, okay, now you have 2 spaces, one at 4, and one you should see it at 11, or yeah, 10, he's saying it, oh yeah, at 10, because, yeah, okay, I understand. So Naim, when you print it first, so this is 4. This is the first empty space he detects. So you printed that, it print 4. When you print it first, go down. Can you go down? Okay. So if you see here, this is substring. You take from 0 until index space. Index space, you put it 4. So when you take from 0 until 4, it will take only 9. That's why he printed 9. And the second, he say after the index space +1, so index space is 4. So you add 1 here, it becomes 5. You don't take the space included. So you take Daniel is, and you save it where? You save it into second. So when you printed that, it give you Daniel is. So in the first, you save Naim. On the second, you save Daniel is. And then on this line, you add Naim with Daniel is. So when you added that, actually, if you do another print statement here to print str, you will find that what you are getting is Naim Daniel on the first round without any space here, but the second space still got. And how we remove the second space? When we run the while loop for the second time. Now, can you please add a print line here for str? Okay, so first is Naim. This is the one. Daniel is printed from the second. str is the result of the operation get adding this to this. So you get Naim Daniel without space in between, but you still get the second space here. Okay. So every time we do the loop, this process removes only one space. So the second time we search for a space, we check here, there is no more space because we already removed it. So where is the space you're going to find? You're going to find it at 10. Why? Because here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and here is 10. So this is the second space. So he will print it out. Why? Because you write here index space. So it means that he do the process on the modified string. He checking this on the modified string. Your new str is this. So he do the operation of finding the index on the modified string str with the removed space here. So he will find that the available space is at 10. So he printed 10 for you. And the first is actually printed Naim Daniel. So we take from 0 until 10, which means that we actually take this portion, we save it as first. That's why he printed out for you here. And then he will take index space plus 1, means that he will ignore that totally, and he will take from 11 until the end. And of course, after is, there is nothing. This is the end of the string. So he will just take is. That's why he printed is for the second. So this is the second. And then he add first with the second without any space. That's why he printed that. So he managed to remove the two spaces in two operations, in two loops. If you add more spaces, so if you add is a good programmer, for example. So you find here, okay, one space, second, third, fourth, fifth. So you need 5 times of the loop to remove the 5 spaces. Every time you run this loop, this line, you remove only one space at a time. Now, I know this is an advanced code. I would say this is an advanced algorithm. It's not something easy. But tell me, what did you catch so far from me?
Oh, I catch that. How?
Is it so complicated? I mean, I
A
know
little
it's
bit,
difficult.
a little bit complicated. I understand a bit and there about the code. So like it took it detect the spaces between the string, right?
Yes, yes, using index of, yes,
Yeah,
true. So again, Naim, we never understand anything without print statement. This is your eyes and ears. So again, if you want to understand the code, look at what is being printed out to see. And then you modify, and also you can modify the code to see, I mean, if it is correct, and if you change something, what will happen? What could be the possible output? So this index space is actually putting 4 here. Try to put index space -1. When you play with the code, you worry about nothing. I mean, you're not in an exam. So if you put index space -1 and try to run, and then you would discover that you're going to miss part of Naim. So you can try that and see. That is the one of the things that can make you really understand the code. Just try to play around. If you don't believe that this code is actually correct, then adjust in the code, adjust in the numbering, and see why is it working, and why is it will not work if you change it. But just be aware that dynamic programming means that when we don't put fixed numbers, it's sometimes hard for the brain to really understand. So maybe it is more clearer if I just write from 0 to 3. Give me a second, please.
Yeah.
So if you don't put numbers, fix it. So it's hard for the brain to really digest that. But this is what we call dynamic. It means that you make a smart code that can be adapted to any string. If I put numbers, like I fix it from 0 to 3, so I can fix it and put maybe the first space is 4. But then when you run the second loop, actually the space, I mean, it's not same. The space here is not at the same distance like the second space, and it's not the same distance like the fourth or the third space. So I cannot really put here numbers. I have to make it dynamic. Dynamic means it will search for the space and tell me where is it. And then based on that, I design my code. So that is tricky, and it takes some time to digest actually.
Okay, I can understand what you're trying to say. Okay.
Okay. So okay. Um, okay, I would say let me try to. Can you let me share, please? Okay. So this is a new level of code again. And this is very common. So do you see this word?
Level. Yeah, I see those words.
Okay, so this word, we call it a palindrome. What does it mean? That this first letter is exactly same the last letter. And the second letter is like the one before the second last. So, and V is in the middle. So when you see the LE here and the EL here like that, it means that this word is a palindrome. So to detect a palindrome, they make a code. They write a code for that. And the code will have a for loop. The for loop will go through every letters and start to compare the first to the last. And then move here to check the second letter to the one before the last. And if they are equal, the more you continue having equal letters, so he will continue to believe that this is a palindrome. Once he see that there is two letters that is different, then it's no longer a palindrome. So if you go here and see this word, and he compared the M to the L and see it is not equal, immediately he will return false. So you see here what he's doing. This is the for loop. The for loop is depend on the length of what? The length of your string that you want to check if it is a palindrome or not. So this is a method. It takes an input, which is a string, and you get the length of the string. And based on the length of the string, you develop a for loop. Okay? And you have current and you have opposite. Current means that you take the first letter. How I know that this is only taking one letter? Because I'm saying I and I plus 1. When I say I and I plus 1, it means that I'm taking only the first letter in the string that I want to test. So this is my string equal level. And to check the first letter, I do I. So when I equals 0, then I get the substring here, this portion 1, I'm taking the L to check. And the opposite means that I am going to check this. So if you want to check the last letter in your word, So you get the length. So you see here, okay, this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is index 4. And if we're starting from 0, it means that the length is actually 5. From 0 to 4 it means that we have 5 letters. Okay? This is length minus 1 minus I. And here's length minus I. This is slightly need some testing. If you don't test it, then you will not be able to understand why. But this tells, okay, the length is 5. Subtract 1 and subtract I. If I at the first time we run is 0, so 5 minus 1 minus 0, which means that it is giving me 4. So I start at 4, which is the last index here. And I say length minus I. And if length is 5 and I is 0, so I take the last letter. From 4 to 5, get me the last letter. So this will get you the first letter, which is L. And this opposite will get you the last letter, which is happening in this case is L. And if you go to a different string, M will be get for you by the current. So you will get here M stored in current, and you will get here L stored by opposite. And then you check here if current is equal opposite. If it is not, it means that this is not a palindrome, and immediately return false. If they are equal, you continue checking. So you need to continue checking until you compare all the letters. Again, this is complicated. This is just an introduction. Without you running and doing a print statement, it will never go into your brain deeply. So first, what did you catch from me in this palindrome explanation?
Yeah. So is palindrome is like finding like the same letters between a string, right? Front and end.
Yes, it need to check if there is similarity in
Similar
letters. Yes. Okay.
letters. So same as numbers, right? Just instead of string we use integer, or it's just a string. Palindrome just consists of string.
Palindrome normally is strings. Normally, it's checking strings only.
But it's possible if I want to use integer too. Correct.
Yes, but you have to. But wait, if you want to use integers, it will be a bit challenging because you are not able to use substring with integers. But there is a way. So if you put numbers 1, 2, 3, and then you put here 1 and 2 and 3, like that, and you convert that numbers to a string. Yes, you're able to do that. You're able to check if it is a palindrome or not. Because if you want to get only this number, it's a bit challenging. You don't have the tools. Substring only works with strings. So only if you convert the integer into a string, yes, you're able to do this operation. So you're able to check 1 is actually equal 1 here. 2 is equal to 2. And the 3 is equal to 3. Yes, you're able to do that. Substring only works with strings, not with integers.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Okay. So let us do that in details in the next class. If you don't have any questions, should we end?
Yeah, I don't have a question.
Okay. Then see you next class.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
See you next
Okay.
class.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.